Welcome back to Soul Shift, the podcast where real life, science, and soul all have a seat at the table. I'm Christine Morgenstern Shin, and I'm here with my co-host Mindy Gorman-Plutzer. If you're new here, this is a space for midlife health seekers navigating shifting of their bodies, their relationships, their work, and their sense of self. We talk about the moments that change us, the nervous system behind it all, and how to come back to connection with yourself. So today we're talking about something that doesn't always get taken seriously in the world of healing or in the world of stress or burnout. It's play. And so not as something extra, but as something essential. Because many high-achieving adults feel what our guest calls exhauster-whelmulated. It's a beautiful word, and it means a lot of intense things: exhausted, overwhelmed, and overstimulated. And having an instinct to try to solve this is typically we try to do more. But our guest offers a different perspective. So Dr. Erica Buchholz is a developmental psychologist, a professional speaker, and a burnout coach focused on the science of adult well-being. With a Ph.D. in Applied Developmental Psychology and over 20 years of experience, she helps high achievers move out of exhaustion and into vitality through the power of play, laughter, and neuro-agility. And all three things just get me so excited. So I can't wait to get into this. What makes her work unique is she blends the analytical, the pattern-based thinking with a focus on the body, the nervous system, and the felt experience of expansion. And this helps people access flow, creativity, and the deeper connection in a way that actually feels sustainable. And on top of all those amazing accolades and experience, Erica is also a certified laughter yoga instructor and a Lego serious play facilitator, bridging behavioral science with practical embodiment tools.
Welcome to Soul Shift, where modern science, ancient wisdom, and real life come alive.
Soul Shift is your weekly dose of inspiration and a reminder that meaningful change can be both gentle and powerful.
Together, we'll unlock practical tools, share conversations that spark something beautiful, and celebrate every facet of your incredible human experience.
Your energy matters, your growth matters, and you matter. Let's shift boldly,
joyfully,
together. Erica, welcome to Soul Shift.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, this is just going to be an amazing, just fun topic to dive into, but also just interesting angle of how you help people heal, And I'd love to start with the foundation because play can mean very different things to different people. And so when you talk about play specifically for adults, what do you actually mean?
Absolutely. So the simplest terms is that for an adult, play is creation. When you think about what does play mean for a child, it's how they learn, how they grow, how they problem solve, how they try new things out. I love to think about when a child has a Hot Wheels car and they want to have it do the loop-de-loop and land in the box. So they're playing by running the car down the track and then, it wasn't steep enough, so I need to adjust the track. And then they do the loop, but it wasn't going fast enough, so I have to give it a little push. And then it jumps, but it doesn't land in the box, so I have to adjust. Play for them is learning and trying new things. That part of it's the same for adults. We learn and try new things and problem solve through play, which could be a hobby. It could be crafting. It could be gardening. It can be going out in nature and listening to bird songs. I got a new app on my phone called Merlin where it's like Pokemon for birds. It listens to these bird songs and then you get to say, "Ooh, that's my bird." It's spectacular fun and it requires absolutely no effort on my part at all. But I'm creating a new experience for myself. I'm learning something different. And what's nice about adults is We like to play in so many different ways that there are no lack of options, and we can reach all the stuff. So if you have like painting stuff up high you haven't used in forever, you can just reach it and play with it anytime you'd like.
I love it. And, the examples you gave, I think for a lot of people, when they just get into real life and they're householders and they're raising kids and career and what have you, I feel like a lot of people lose access to that. Like they might touch upon these fun things when they're on vacation or once a month so I guess my first question is, why do you think that happens? Why have we moved away from this enjoyment?
We are all so busy. That's very real. I've never met a high achieving adult who says, oh yeah, like I could get bored really frequently. Like, no, I've never met anyone who's told me I'm bored. We're all really busy because we want to be productive and we want to grow and we want to live this life to our fullest. And when play and laughter and rest is seen as frivolous, then it doesn't rank as high on the priority list. But if you go through a burnout journey like I have, you learn that rest is actually absolutely essential to well-being. And I resisted rest. Oh gosh, friends. It's so hard. I resisted it for years and I made up all these arguments about why I couldn't. And my body was like, well, then I guess I'll show you. And it slowed me down and it forced me to rest. And then I got to, live it to give it. So I got to rest and I had to learn all these techniques that were good for my body, good for my mind, good for my family, good for my career. And once I realized that it wasn't adding on top, it's just infusing and working my schedule in a way that makes sense for both me and my goals, that's when things started shifting and you start to realize the value that play really plays in your life.
I think a lot of people think, oh, is this one more thing I need to add to my to-do list, right? And you blending it in makes it a lot more accessible.
I just love this conversation so far. Chris and I were talking before you came on. It was just the whole concept of play is so nuanced. And we can dive into that when we break down the overexhaustion, the overwhelm, and the overstimulated. Exhauster, well-mulated. There, I said it. I think a lot of people are going to feel that immediately. So before we get into the nuanced part of it and how it really can relate to the type of woman you were talking about that you related to so well, what does that look like in someone's day-to-day life?
Yeah, so exhauster well-mulated is, I didn't come up with it. I came across through some parenting blogs and writings, and people were starting to identify this overwhelming sensation of being exhausted, overwhelmed, and overstimulated. And that word, exhauster well-mulation, it's as exhausting to say as it is to feel. And I love it so much. It just speaks to that I am trying. I am showing up. I am trying to take good care of myself. I am trying to maybe raise a tiny human. I am trying to work and make a difference and make an impact in this world. I'm trying to take care of the earth. I'm trying to not utilize too many resources, and no one will stop touching me, right? And the sun is too loud and the light is too noisy, my kid says all the time, right? Like it's too much and it's so much. And it's so hard to deal with. We don't actually have a lot of tools that are part of the mainstream that we can use to actually get out of it. Seeing that is where so many women, especially, are living day to day. And when you're in that state, it's really hard to access the tools like gratitude and journaling and yoga because you're not even in the right state of mind to let those things impact you. Because I sat and I did yoga and I did gratitude and I wrote out everything that was wonderful and amazing and affirmations. And I looked at my husband, I was like, what is happening? All these really smart people online are telling me that this should work and it's not even penetrating in. I had to learn that you actually, when you're in that kind of dampened state, that burnout state, the stuff can't get in and you can't get it out. You have to do a recharge first. You have to rest first. And that allows you to then move into the next mindset state to then access all of those wonderful tools that really do work when you're in the right state.
So it's really mindset then that you're saying keeps people stuck there, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And like the very real high cortisol absolutely blocks, and having low dopamine and low serotonin, these matter. It changes the way that your brain works, it changes the way your body works, and it changes the way you receive information. And, like Tony Robbins has you do gratitude, like I'm so grateful for this, and you pull it in and you change your physical state to change your mental state. And that's really great. Like neurolinguistic programming is spectacular for physically moving yourself into a different state. Just sometimes you need to rest first before you can do all that active stuff. If you haven't washed out all of the old pieces in your brain and done some cleansing up there, all the motion around isn't going to do it. It's just going to feel like the grind.
So what I'm hearing, and please correct me if I'm not hearing it properly or expressing it properly to our audience, is that you can't talk your way out of such a state. You've got to be embody a different direction.
You got it. We call it active recovery. It's similar to like when you have like a sports injury or something, but active recovery, even for your mind, is rest. It is taking a walk in nature. It is restorative yoga. It is what feels to you like being supported and safe. If one of those techniques doesn't feel safe for you, they're not going to work. It's cool. It's fine. There are a lot to choose from, right? But simply going out in nature can be a huge way to recover. I used to literally go down to the stream and look for ducks. And that for me worked because I didn't have to do anything. I was by the nature. Sometimes there was actually a duck. It was really exciting when there was. And it was calm. And nature is unique in that it's so there's noises, sounds, there's scents, there's light, and that can slow down all the racing thoughts that happen because it's distracting. It's wonderful. Our brains were designed for that.
Right. So would you say that it's also about directing your thoughts outward?
Absolutely.
That's what came to mind, visualizing you looking for ducks. You're spending your energy looking for something outside of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right. And when you have been able to rest, that's when all these beautiful mindset techniques can come in, right? When your body is feeling safe and supported, then you can say to yourself, you are a sparkling gremlin of love, right? And your brain will be like, that's right, I am. And it will believe you, right? And it could say, sparkles are the best in the universe. And I see sparkles over there. And your brain's like, oh yeah, okay, totally. And that's when the rewiring can happen, right? But you can't rewire in high cortisol. You have to rewire from a place of rest.
So from a nervous system perspective, I think it's really interesting because you're talking about that sympathetic fight or flight type state and some blended states when people are very activated and can't grasp doing the yoga, walking out in nature, right? But then you're saying when they get to that burnout stage, they're in that collapse or shut down or flop state where it's just not happening. Like you said, when you were talking to your husband, you just couldn't, where's the joy in this movement, right? And what I love is that you're teaching people that, hey, this is one part of your nervous system, this is another part. And then you moved into the regulation piece where once the person has rested, they can access. And I think that's where, your work really stands out because you're bringing joy into someone's life. So adults can actually access, using play, they can access flow, they can access creativity, they can access a different state in their body where a lot of people, I think, don't realize that this is available to them. Have you found that?
Yeah, so I was taking coach training to get my certification. And one of the exercises in coach training was to feel into your body. And they said, feel into your legs. And I looked around, I was like, feel into your legs? What are you talking about? I had no sensations in my body except for in my head, in my chest of pain, and my stomach of always swirling. And that was all I could access. It took a lot of really talented coaches to help me learn how to feel safe enough to sit still to then feel my body. I didn't know that was a thing. I've never in my whole life knew that was a thing. And I have a Ph.D. in psychology, and we never talked about any of that stuff, right? We talked about how your nervous system works, parasympathetic, sympathetic. That was it. But we never actually talked about the connection of your thoughts to your nervous system.
Well, it's really interesting because you were focusing on top-down approaches, right, to therapy, and all of what you discovered and learned is the bottom up. And so now I can see you combining the two skill sets can absolutely be life-changing for people. You're not just making them feel better inside, like somatically, they're feeling it, right? And they're more connected. But you're also changing the way how the brain and the body are functioning together. I mean, that's what I'm hearing. And as a psychologist, how do you have them feel first and then think about what their next action step is? Or how does it work in terms of if you're guiding someone into this work?
Yeah, my favorite way is to start with laughter. Okay? Because we could start with, tell me everything terrible that's going on in your life. Because a lot of times we need to vent and we have literally no one to talk to. That's fine. I'm happy to sit there and collect it all, and I will be there for you. I find, though, that if we actually start with, tell me something funny. What makes you laugh so hard you snort, right? Like, tell me about a time when things felt really great. And with no pressure, you don't have to pick the right one. Like, just tell me about it. That already shifts you into a different state of mind. From there, now we can actually access creative problem solving. When you think of something lighthearted where I encourage you to giggle even though nothing funny has happened, like we can do that. You can just take a deep breath and laugh. Ha, 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 ha. Right? Like nothing funny occurred, but you have laughter in you. You can turn it on at any point. That tells your body, lower the cortisol, increase your dopamine, increase your serotonin. If you do it with another person, then you also get to increase oxytocin, which is like the best one if you can get it, right? And then from there, your right hemisphere is turned on. And when I ask you, what you're going through sounds really tough. What do you think is a different way that you could approach it? Or what's something you haven't tried yet? Your brain comes up with different solutions because you're in a different state of mind. And it's amazing because those solutions are always way more creative than the ones you would come up with when you were feeling down and low and you just grumbled about everything that was happening. There's totally space and room for venting and complaining and kind of piecing things apart. But when you really want to solve something, you really want to move forward, you really want to get unstuck, if you can get into that elevated state, your responses, your solutions are significantly more playful.
I love that you're getting them out of their analytical brain first and moving to the heart space, I call it, into the heart brain, and having them access that to have the capability to go back to the brain and use their analytical skills, right, in a more creative way that you're saying. So thank you for sharing that.
You also talk about how play and laughter affect connection, especially between adults and their children. So what shifts when someone allows themselves to enter that kind of state?
Like everything, right? When you think about, even as an adult, I'm sure you've had the experience where you're talking to someone, but they're looking at their phone and you know that you don't have their full attention. Like, you know that feeling. And you also know the feeling of the phone is down, they're sitting across, they're really listening to you, right? When you provide that to your child, like that's what they feel. And when you've got the phone, even if it's a work email, even if it's scheduling something for them, they don't know, right? They don't know what's on your phone. To them, it just looks like disengagement. But playfulness is what leads to presence, right? When you are in it with them to build the Hot Wheels track. You are present. They feel that. When you are loading the dishwasher and they say, look at this, you can say, hold on, I gotta finish. But then there's a disconnection moment. Or you can say, oh yeah, let me see. You spin, you look for 5 seconds. Awesome job, friend. Keep on keeping on. And then you go back to the dishwasher. They feel that. They feel your presence, even though you're doing an important thing and you're getting stuff done. You don't have to fully disengage from your tasks and from getting the house stuff done and from your work emails. You are also very welcome to be like, hold on one moment, friend. Count to 10 and then I'll be right there. That's fine. They can learn that there are boundaries and there are times when you're present and when you are unable to be present. But get there quick, right? Try to give them that moment. And even if it's a little blip, that is what they'll remember. And lightheartedness is the thing that parents seem to respond the best to understanding. We're just looking for lightness. Not everything in your house is an emergency, even if it feels that way.
Yeah. And something you'd said earlier, referred to earlier about laughter. You know, the laughter is inside of us, and that is probably one of the greatest connectors.
I'm not sure if I can think of a way to build rapport faster with someone than to share giggling with them. Conference I go to, when we're doing a networking meeting I go to, I try so hard to start with a laugh. I'm not a joke teller. I'm not a funny lady by any means. Like I miss sarcasm 90% of the time, right? I'm deeply gullible, right? But if I could say something silly like, how many light bulbs do you think are in this hotel? Now they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It's a different, and you've moved into a different state of mind. And when you can throw out a ridiculous number, now you've turned playfulness on, and now you're laughing together, and you've built rapport so fast. You do that with your kiddos too, when you giggle with them about what Paw Patrol episode is on, or how hard it is to get the magnet tiles to stick to the refrigerator, like whatever it is. You can make it happen and you can totally I think that's why dad jokes are so popular with kids. It's such a fast way to build connection with an adult around you.
Yeah. And that is probably the felt experience of expansion. I love that expression. I work with women who have spent decades shrinking themselves, and I always talk to them about the possibilities of expansion. And that has nothing to do with the size of your body. It's the size of your soul. And I'm just feeling that right now in this conversation. You know, thinking about times in my own life when laughter has been the greatest connector. So I thank you for that.
Absolutely. Oh,
Yes. I love all of what you're sharing, Erica. And I'm thinking of the person listening that might not be connecting with it because they're so disconnected from their body and they might be on the verge of burnout. And I know you're brilliant at supporting these type of people. Where do they begin? Like, is there a first step that you would suggest for someone to do?
deep breaths. Just take a deep breath, my friend. Even if it doesn't get very deep, deep breath. My message to you is that you are doing so much better than you realize. You just are. You are not failing. You have done nothing wrong. You are trying to solve an incredibly complex modern problem with an incomplete toolbox. That is all. It's cool. You did nothing wrong. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Going into burnout is a slow burn. It is painful and it is awful and it feels bad and you know it's bad and you can't always get out. It's okay. Getting out, though, doesn't feel the same way. I promise. Like, getting out feels way better than falling in. And I fell in twice, friends, because apparently I learned through repetition. So apparently the tools you use to get out are not painful. They are breathing. They are connecting with humans who you already really like anyway. Right? They are stretching your body. Did you know legs up the wall? Like, you literally lay down and put your legs up the wall and your cortisol's like, oh, I guess I'll go down. It's cool. You don't need me right now. What? You get permission to lay down? Yes, friends, right? Like, that is the way out. It's so much better than the grind and the work and the up till 2 a.m. just to make sure everybody's got pants for tomorrow, right? Like, Getting out is way more gentle than getting in. So first step, deep breaths. Active recovery like walking and stretching and moving your body in the way that feels right for you. And then as you feel comfortable, get help because it's so much faster when you have a friend alongside you. I didn't know that. I don't tend to ask other people for help very frequently. I've had to learn that skill, right? But it moves so much faster when you have support with you too.
And Erica, for the woman that Chris referred to who is stuck, for the woman who is tied to the belief system that she doesn't deserve rest, that it means she's being totally unproductive. And she's starting to take those deep breaths, but she's got to take it now to the next step to figure out what kind of play actually feels natural for her. How would you advise her?
Yeah. Well, I would say that come to me, talk to me. I have a free burnout recovery session. You literally click on my website, becomingplayful.com. Go there. We will talk. It will be the most fun conversation you have all week. It's never painful. Coaching is not supposed to be the most painful part of your week by any means, right? And if you want to figure out what kind of play is a good fit for you, I encourage you to go. There's a website called playpersonalities.com. You could take a little quiz and you could figure out what kind of play you used to do as a kid. If you can't remember, maybe you collected things, maybe you directed all the other kids. Lots of people love to not even play. They just love to like tell other people how to play, and that's play to them. Cool, great. Go for it, friends, right? Like, so that's another way that you can ease yourself in. If you feel brave, you can go and Google some laughter yoga videos online. You can go on YouTube, look at laughter yoga videos, and you can go on your own. You just watch other people laughing and you can laugh too. If you feel even more brave, you could join a laughter yoga class, which is, oh my gosh, the most fun. 20 minutes, everybody just giggles together, even though nothing funny happened. It's spectacular. It's such a quick way to change your state and to feel good, and it lasts the whole day if you do it. Those, I think, are the first bits that you could do that are gentle and they will not hurt you, and you don't have to go to the gym. And all of these things will totally work.
Oh, that's so helpful. And all of the tools that you just mentioned will be in the show notes, so everybody can access them. Thank you so much. And Erica, before we close, let's reflect back on the 3 big takeaways from this conversation. So first, laughter is not something we have to wait for. It's something we can access even when nothing funny is happening. I love that. Second, play is not one size fits all. It's personal. And as you just shared, we each have our own way into it. And third, I was going to say, it's not quite finally, because this is something that will take us through the rest of our lives. This isn't just about feeling lighter. Play and laughter are actually changing our brain, opening up creativity and problem solving. Did I capture those takeaways correctly?
Absolutely. You did such a beautiful job. I love that.
Anything you want to add to that?
Again, just know that you're doing so good. The world is so overwhelming right now, especially, and you're doing a great job. And I promise you can totally feel a different way if you so desire it. And if you're not ready to yet, that's cool too. Like, you do you, my friend. We are all available when you are, and when you're ready, we'll be here.
I like that you're so open with your invitation. And, I'd love for our listeners to know, where can they start if they want to explore your work?
Yep, absolutely. My website is becomingplayful.com. So you can go there. You can totally get the burnout recovery session. It's a super easy, click the button, find a time. There's nothing to prepare for it whatsoever. I have a ton of articles online about laughter, about playfulness, about parenthood, about job burnout. So there's a ton in there. You can look through the blog on Becoming Playful. And I'm a really active LinkedIn lady. So my name is Erica Buchholz, and you can go on there and you can see a bunch of my newsletters, like Exhaust or Wellmulated. That's a really fun one that we just get you going. If you're on LinkedIn for work anyway, you might as well hang out on someplace silly.
I love it. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for this conversation. And to everyone listening, if you've been feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, overstimulated, maybe the next step is not doing more. Maybe it's allowing for something lighter, something more human, something more playful. And as we always say on Soul Shift, small shifts create big transformations. And sometimes the most meaningful shift is remembering something you already have inside of you. So until next time, keep shifting your mind and keep igniting your soul.
Thank you for sharing the sacred time today.
We hope something in this conversation touched your heart
And offered nourishment for your soul's journey.
Remember, transformation is most effortless when it happens one tender shift at a time.
Until next week, we invite you to carry one insight from today into your life.
Not as a task.
Think of it as a superpower to yourself.
If something resonated, we'd love to hear from you. If you're joining us on YouTube, feel free to leave us a comment below.
Your words ripple outward, offering connection and comfort to others walking this path beside you.
If Soul Shift feels like home, please subscribe and consider leaving us a review.
Your support will help us reach more hearts that need to hear they're not alone.
We're holding you in love, so know you're not alone. Your journey matters.
May your heart be filled.
And may your path be filled with grace.